You know, we talk about building kind of like the perfect DB, especially in this area with Washington football team. You go back to Sean Taylor. You know, I mean, of course, we're all very familiar with his story and just how tragic of an end he had. You never really got to see the full potential, but you got to see enough to really get excited behind. If we're to build the perfect DB, what quality traits would you put in that? Who's giving you the most fits out there?
You know, if I had to build the perfect DB, I would say I'd take Moreau size. Moreland, his knack for the ball. You have a guy like, you name it, Darby. He was a guy, when I watched him play, he was always there, but just couldn't make the play. So I'll take that. And then you bring in a guy, Fuller, who we knew. His versatility, to me, I think his awareness to be able to play in and out and just be solid in that position, to me, that makes the perfect DB. So you put all those guys together, combined, you have a guy out there that's playing on the level of a prime.
And one of the things that Del Rio has kept saying about Simeon Thomas is he has that length. You know, he said he wants to see him kind of beef up a little bit. He's kind of a little bit on the lean side, but you kind of think like a Richard Sherman, very tall, has the ability to have that. And of course, they keep stressing versatility. That's something that we have been hearing from, head coach Ron Rivera from the beginning, is guys have to be able to play multiple positions. You see Chris Harris kind of totally backing that up, saying with these guys, you've got to be able to play all over the field. And the biggest thing that we said when it comes down to it is you have to really kind of trust where guys are. So I think that's the big thing too, is especially comes with the football smarts, know what's going on, know where you have to be, and trust that your guys are where they're supposed to be as well.
I think that's one of the best things you can have as a defensive back is trust. You know, you have to understand that whatever package or whatever coverage that I'm in, I have that particular side of the field, or whether it's deep third, underneath, you have to understand that this is my responsibility. Some of the great cornerbacks, some of the great defensive backs, they are able to say, I'm gonna take care of my responsibility first, and I'm gonna peak when I know I handle things on my side and see where I can help out guys later. So that's big. That's big in knowing that, hey, as long as that guy have his. I remember being a young kid playing cornerback, and I had a guy always.
Wait, so you played? When did you play?
So when I played Pee Wee ball, from Pee Wee all the way up until when I was in 10th grade, I played both positions. And I thought about it a while. I had a wise thought to say, hey, you know what, do I want to keep getting my head smashed and trying to make tackles?
Tell me what the reason is of why you decided you want to move from defense to offense.
I got hurt more playing defensive back than I did playing receiver. So I just thought about it one day and said, I like hearing the cheers when I'm scoring touchdowns, but hearing those bells when I'm making tackles, I got to get away from it. But
how hard is it to kind of get those guys? I mean, you think of like a Landon Collins, like, one of the things that they love about him is they're like he's an alpha. Like, he's not afraid to go up there. He's not afraid to tackle. He's not afraid to hit. And a lot of guys, I mean, mimic and copy just what you said. They don't really want to do that. They kind of play off a little bit. They kind of play a little bit scared especially when it comes to, man coverage.
Well, if you think about it, receivers have to be kind of, wired different, also, because if you're going across that middle knowing you're going to get hit, that's something different. I found myself getting hurt more from friendly fire. I'm making a tackle and then my own teammate come and knocking me out. So I thought that was just not right. So I said, I'd rather get hit catching passes and trying to score touchdowns. But as a defensive back, when you're in that, you're in that situation, you got to have just that attitude that, hey, regardless of what's going on out there, I'm going to make that play. So that's why some of those guys like Landon Collins and you see those other guys like Fabian Moreau coming up making tackles. I think he led the DBs in tackles last year, the cornerbacks in tackles. That's where they get that, that ability to, because they just don't care and they want to go out there at all means and make that play.
So Fabian Moreau played outside in college and basically was stuck inside for a few years until it kind of opened up. At the end of the season, you saw he had that opportunity to go outside. We kind of kept asking coach, like, where can you line him? And he still kind of mentioned that he was maybe inside, outside, because again, they want that versatility. But someone like him, even when I was talking with him last year in the locker room, he said he feels more comfortable on the outside because that is what more something he's got the instincts for. And then Kendall Fuller. He was a player that they had when he let go. They said, we want to bring you back. And they gave him a nice hefty contract, so we asked us, they anticipate him to start, but one of the things I like about him is they think he has versatility as well.
Yeah, I think Kendall Fuller was the guy that you wanted to see back. I hated to see him leave, and just knowing the season he had when he left, he was playing all-time high. Then he goes out there in Kansas City and played, pretty well also. Bringing him back, I think he's familiar, he's going to be comfortable with here, and then just having this defense that he's going to play under, having Jack Del Rio, who's to me a defensive, coordinator guru that's going to put him in the right situations, he's going to have those guys up front hunting so well that I would love to be a defensive back. I tell guys all the time, as a receiver, they ask me this question time after time after time, who's the toughest corner. And there's a lot of tough ones I went against, but the toughest corner to me was always the best front seven that I played against. And
All right.
you can put anybody
that
up out
bodes
there.
well for this team.
No doubt. So we have that, you know?
Yeah, I think if you look at the defensive line rankings coming into 2020, they are ranked 3rd in the league, and by all means, under new coaching, new tutelage, they should live up to that with Chase Young out there. I mean, look, you're talking about the impact he's going to have. The D-line loves having, but yeah, that secondary is so
Yes.
glad to have him as well.